Megalodon is like the biggest shark that ever existed. And of course, you had the Meg series, which really
right,
skyrocketed that. Jason Statham.
Here's a question for you then. Do you think the Meg exists?
No.
You're 100%?
Unequivocally, no.
No?
No, because what's it eating? It would have, like, you're talking about Megalodon was a surface predator that ate and feasted on baleen whales. So there would be carcasses or, whales showing up with massive chomps out of them. And you would see a Megalodon because it would be on the surface. It would be looking down.
So it never existed?
It did exist.
Oh, wait, what? Really?
Yes.
Did we have like a skeleton of it or
About,
anything?
was it 2 or 20 million years ago? It's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Megalodons existed. And
I know they exist, but there's like rumors going around being like, they might exist. They're just in the deep sea
Oh, well, that's
now,
because we always want to believe in
cryptids.
cryptids and all this jazz, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I thought Megalodon was just a made-up creature. I guess Connor did for...
Yeah, I thought it was fake.
Oh, surely they would come up with
real.
a crazier design than just a big shark.
Well, honestly, I kind of thought that's typical Hollywood laziness.
Yeah, I suppose.
Shark, but big.
It's relatable. People know.
Because I never watched that movie because it seemed like the peak airplane movie.
It was definitely a popcorn movie.
And I was not willing to give it the time of the day. I like Jason Statham, though, but was it good?
Jason Statham and Shark isn't. No.
Yeah, but it just seemed like one of those movies that was meant to go straight to DVD after that era already went.
Oh, you're talking about like sci-fi. Like,
no. You know,
shark octopus versus giant
crocodiles.
crocodile.
Movies that were like just bad.
Sharknado.
Yeah, Sharknado.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff that was just meant to turn a profit on DVD. But
I mean, Sharknado is pure cinema. I'm just going to say
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Well, it's not just that, but like every time I go to America, and there's always like 10 million Megalodon documentaries.
Yeah.
And I use the term documentary because they give off the same vibe as like the History Channel doing like alien pyramid documentaries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I was just like, oh, this is kind of like Loch Ness Monster.
A made-up thing.
It's kind of like a mythical thing that we don't know if it did or never existed. And it was only recently that I was like, oh, wait. People think there is evidence that this definitely did exist.
Just another reason to fucking hate the ocean.
I think I became aware of Megalodon because at the Sydney Aquarium, they had like a huge shark exhibit, obviously, because we have a lot of sharks, especially off the coast of Sydney. And there was this like, there's this particular area that I remember perfectly where they took all of like the mouth skeletons of each of the different sharks in order of size.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember being, starting off like really, really small, like the Mako shark or whatever. And then it would get up and, you'd think at the end would be the great white, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, that's the biggest shark there is right now. And then right next to it, it's just this giant fucking Megalodon one.
That you could
like
step into. Yeah.
I can fit inside of that shit. And I was like, yeah. Ocean's scary.
Oh yeah.
I hope this thing doesn't exist anymore.
And we as a species existed during the same sort of time.
Yeah.
So, your ancestors could have went in the ocean.
I mean, 3.6 million years ago is not that long ago if you think about it.
No, I mean, that's probably at the end stages when they're probably maybe getting a little bit smaller. But
Why did they go extinct?
We really don't know, but the theory is that they went into decline because whales started going into colder waters and they needed warm waters.
Study from 2022 suggests that competition with great white sharks for food.
Yes, and smaller sharks sort of superseded them in the food chain, and unfortunately they just went extinct.
Outplayed.
Yeah,
they did.
Sizes and everything.
Kind of skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue.
Actually, just a skill issue there.
But I mean, things in the water during the time of the dinosaurs as well are fascinating.
Oh my god,
way bigger than the T-Rex.
The ocean dinosaurs are some of my favorites.
What are the ocean dinosaurs?
What's the one with the fins, the 4 fins?
Oh, you plesiosaurs?
Plesiosaurs.
You got plesiosaurs, pliosaurs, mosasaurs. There was
Mosasaurs?
Yeah, mosasaur. A mosasaur.
That was
Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurus.
Yeah, plesiosaur is my favorite underwater.
Yes,
dinosaur.
that's one with the long neck. I think you're thinking about.
These guys are sick.
This is just Subnautica.
Yeah, this is.
Well, I mean, they've got to get their
such a
inspiration
cool
from
dinosaur.
someone.
Look at that.
Is that?
That's so cool.
So it would use its neck to get into a shoal of fish and snap them up without the fish sort of realizing, is the theory. That's what it would do.
What a fucking terrifying creature.
And then Mosasaur was, I think, the biggest prehistoric sea creature that existed.
Especially just that with a crocodile mouth. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mosasaur was crazy. They got some crazy lengths, those things.
Jesus.
Hell yeah.
I know that there's like... now
that's just a giant crocodile
with
almost.
flippers.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how the whale just managed to just stick around.
Yeah, well, if you type in Basilosaurus or Basilosaurus or something like that, I had a dog called Basil. I'm like, oh, is this Basil? So it's, as Nigel Marvin would say, it's a whale on diet pills. So this is at the time when there wasn't cold. They didn't need blubber to stay warm. So it was more like a swift sort of. And this was, I think, around about the time with Megalodon as well. But their teeth was way more predatory looking, like massive teeth to crush bone and such.
Oh, wow.
Before the baleen whales with the bristles decide to just, outcompete everything.
I mean, look at it in terms of like next to like the orca.
Yeah.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, orcas are huge.
Yeah.
You ever see one in person?
Fucking hell.
Massive.
Orcas just look a lot less threatening.
Yeah. They do. Deceivingly so.
That's way too deceivingly like friendly. Look at that.
Underwater apex creatures fell off.
I feel sad that my only knowledge of orca is just those shitty SeaWorld documentaries. But I've never heard of what the orca, what's its place in the natural
It has no
ecosystem.
natural predators.
Oh no!
What does it do? Just fucking vibe? Does it eat? What does it
No,
eat?
it eats.
It's an apex predator.
Yeah.
They
go for seals, right?
They have
Yeah,
their own, depending on the pod as well, the family they live in, they have their own language. And depending on where they are in the world, some only eat fish, some only eat mammals. And they teach each other how to hunt. They'll teach each other how to breach when they're young. So how to grab the seal from the shoreline. So they teach that with their calves.
They're like the wolves of the ocean.
They are very, very intelligent, which is why it's so sad when you see them in,
Yeah.
And there's so many people. I mentioned once about how it's a bad thing to keep orcas and intelligent creatures in captivity. And that's something like, oh, what are you doing? They're well looked after. I'm like, look at it, man. look at its box it lives in. You can't tell me it's loving its life.
Boy wants to rip a seal apart, not bounce a ball on its
he wants to flick it with its tail. And that's another thing. They actively do that.
Yeah.
They have fun with their food, which is devastating for the food, but they're having fun.
Just makes you think that if dinosaurs were still around, we would definitely find a way to
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Oh my god. 100%.
I mean, if dinosaurs are still around, it'd just be a zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Just a much bigger zoo.
Yeah, huge zoo.
What we have now.
Which is why I never understood the main plot line in Jurassic World was people are bored with dinosaurs now. It's like, it's like everyone stops going to zoos because they're bored of elephants. Like, I've seen that before. I never understood that. It's like, oh. And it's the only place in the world to go see them. And it's like, nah, nobody likes us.
It's like, no.
Nah.
Or if that exists in real life, it'd be like fucking Universal Studios and Halloween. It'd just be like bank of people.
I always wondered in the dinosaur community how they felt about, I guess, first of all, Jurassic Park. Was it like unanimous love of the thing, or is it kind of controversial in some circles?
I think Jurassic Park was the dinosaur community's Big Bang event. I think that's where it started. And you never can speak ill of Jurassic Park.
But what about its sequels and how the modern day Jurassic Park?
Because I didn't watch Jurassic World.
I did. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
You didn't like it? It's just Jurassic Park, but modern.
Yeah, and it was
you have Owen Grady on a motorbike with the raptors, and that was a deleted scene in The Lost World, the sequel to Jurassic Park.
really?
That never got in there, but I will admit that was cool. I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Motorbike with raptors running alongside, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was Jurassic Park 3 where the series I felt went.
Right.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 2 was
people
great.
did.
Yeah.
And that's because they killed the T-Rex with the Spinosaur. And that was all because... Do you remember GMTV?
That's the reason why you're not on
GMTV, yeah.
The director, I think Frank Marshall, maybe... Oh, no, it's somewhere different. Anyway, the director was on there and he said the only reason he did it was to... Well, we need a bigger thing. A bit like the Megalodon, right? We need a better, bigger thing.
People are getting bored of the T-Rex.
Yeah, we need something to kill it. And I was like, you arse. And I went in the cinema when I watched that. I remember when that fight happened, I was so invested that when it ended, I didn't realize I stood up. I just caught myself like
Unbelievable.
You were like, this is impossible.
I mean, as a kid, and that happens like a T-Rex and a Spinosaur fighting. It's what you want to see. Nowadays, you can Google anything and it'll be there.
It's like scientifically inaccurate.
It's like, Mike, they took down my goats. No way. It's like the dinosaur of WWE matches,
Yeah, it was.
When
really
the champion goes down, you're like, no way.
That was like Marvel Civil War with Jurassic Park 3, and it spawned Spino fanboys, which became a term for like
Spino
fanboys. It became
that
a term.
sounds like a Spino bifida.
Spino bifida.
Spino fanboys.
Oh my god. That just made me wonder. Okay, so
You want to know all the dirt.
No, like in the anime community, we always have like this character would beat this character. In the dinosaur community, is there?
Oh yeah, 100%. I have like a series where I do battle royales and I put all the dinosaurs together and see who wins. You know?
All right, what are the S tier dinosaurs? What is like the Goku of like the
Goku
the most powerful.
The most powerful, yes.
Okay, well, as far as apex carnivores go, of course you got T-Rex.
Yeah,
T-Rex,
of course.
Yeah.
Carcharodontosaurus is another big one.
You're gonna have to repeat that one again.
Imagine a T-Rex, but instead of teeth that were thick and were meant for crushing bone, it was razors.
Right.
So it would like slash its prey. Mapusaurus is another one.
What was your first? Cacaosaurus?
Carcharodontosaurus. It's Latin. It's like great white is Carchara something as well.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Then you have Acrocanthosaurus, Spinosaurus, of course.
Isn't there the T-Rex actually that has like actual big arms as well? Like I remember reading this up and
I'm trying to picture that in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it was I think it was way after the T-Rex. I remember reading it in my dinosaur encyclopedia and being like, why is this one not talked about? This is T-Rex with actual arms.
It might be the Giganotosaurus.
oh, I'm sorry, a what?
A Giganotosaurus. Like a Gigachad.
Giganotosaurus.
Yes, this guy.
Oh yes, this guy. This is the guy.
This was the one that was known to be bigger than the T-Rex.
Yes. This is what I remember.
Oh, this is bigger than the T-Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you've got so many different ones. You've got the new Dominion.
When does this exist? Is this the same time as the
Late
T-Rex?
Cretaceous period, yeah. So, no.
I think that's me in the morning. What does that mean? Late Cretaceous period.
So
you know there's periods in the
there's
dinosaurs.
periods.
I know this period. I didn't know the names.
So you have the Triassic, which is when dinosaurs were just getting their foothold, when early mammals were sort of dying out.
Okay.
And we hung on throughout millions of years to get to where we are today. As rodents and little things. We were just like playing the long game while dinosaurs were having their time. So then you had Triassic, then Jurassic, which is known for its giant sauropods and stuff like that. And then Cretaceous. And then each one of these is divided by massive extinction events. Of course, Cretaceous is the asteroid that hit Earth, blocked out the sun, created the Ice Age and everything. Like died almost, basically.
What's your favorite period?
Ooh. Probably Cretaceous, just because it's got the best. It's got the Triceratops, it's got the T-Rex.
Before they fell off.
Before they were unceremoniously ended by God.
The deletion process.
Yes. Enough of this, you're too peak. Die, reset.
Cretaceous period dinosaurs. It's ironic that a lot of these ones showed up in Jurassic Park, even though
the Cretaceous Park just doesn't have the same ring, does it?
It won't sell tickets. Cretaceous Park.
Yeah, Cretaceous Park now.
Crustaceous is ocean animals.
Cretaceous.
Too many words.
I remember I saw a meme ages ago of
Ankylosaurus.
it was one of those
armored.
That's the one with the giant ball at the end.
It's got the club on its
This
tail.
guy's sick.
Yes.
Look at this guy.
Would this be this be an
S tier
definitely.
in terms
I've killed this in Monster
power
Hunter.
rankings?
It's like Rathalos.
Yeah. So completely armored. In fact, one of the amazing fossils found was an intact version of this with its skin and armor. Exactly the way.
Skin?
Yeah, I don't think it was. There it is. It was a Boria pelter, I think it was, or something like that. But basically, an ankylosaurid.
How the fuck was that kept so well?
I think because this fossil, when it died, it floated out to the ocean. And of course, it was upside down when it was found.
Right, yeah.
So the theory is that it was floating. Of course, when you die, all
Belly
of the
up.
gases.
Yeah.
And then that popped and it fell down in the silt and it was preserved really well that way. And that's why the back is just almost perfect. Like you have textures.
That's a fucking Pokemon, man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Legitimately.
The amazing thing is to think that someone had to carve that from the rock and go, oh, that's bone. No, don't go there. A little bit more.
Yeah.
If you see the process, it's literally just carving it out exactly the way it is without digging into it, because you could so easily just smash a bit off.
Yeah.
It's
That'd be nerve-wracking.
Exactly.
That's the jackpot.
It sounds very calming though. Can you just imagine your job is just like sitting there for just in silence.
I think they just got to bring in those guys that made them the like Renaissance like carvings. Those guys will get it done in 2 minutes.
Probably.
They'd be like,
they're long gone.
They'd be like, oh yeah, this will be easy. And they're
Give me
like
my chisel.
And if only we'd fossilized those guys. Yeah, still have them.
Well,
so I noticed Velociraptors wasn't up in your S tier. Would you say they're overrated?
Okay, Utah Raptors is
Raptors.
basically what they're based on. Never guess where that's
Now you're
found.
making shit up. Utah Raptors.
Utah
Yes.
Raptors.
Yes.
Are they Mormon?
No, well, no, but they did live in
Wow, it
Mormon
actually
land.
exists.
Wow.
Utah raptor.
Yes, at the moment there's a project called the Utah Raptor Project where
Oh, it's feathered.
yes, Jim Kirkland at the moment he's excavating a massive find of them.
Yeah.
These guys were there. It is these sort of just there, but he these were the ones that you'd see in Jurassic Park, like that size. Velociraptor was
Yeah.
about the size of a chicken. And it was feathered.
Oh.
This one did have its plumage as well, and he goes into detail about how it would hunt. Like it could have all these feathers
so
underneath.
cool.
It would
Fuck.
sprawl out, bristle.
Wait.
scare and everything.
Velociraptors were chicken sized?
Yes,
They were that small?
they lived in Mongolia, I think it was, or where they were found. Sorry,
you could kick
prehistoric
them.
Mongolia.
I thought they were like the size of like a human.
Yeah, I mean that's from Jurassic
Utah
Park,
Raptor.
right?
Utah Raptor.
Oh, so
is
it's
that's
this.
what these are based on.
That's fucking cool.
And it was Deinonychus, I think, technically they based it on.
Right,
but,
right.
Which is again a similar size.
My mind has been shattered about Velociraptor.
These, these guys, it's theorized, were probably more successful than T-Rex.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
if you think a pack of these working together with the claws that they could just slash out, jumping onto a collar,
yeah.
they would slice anything up. And then the T-Rex, Jack Horner believes it was 100% a scavenger, never hunted.
Oh,
And it
really?
would probably feast on the leftover carrion of Utah raptors.
So these guys are like the hyenas, whereas
What's the point of being that big if you
T-Rex is
can't
like
kill
the lion.
anything?
I don't know.
intimidating.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
size intimidating.
nothing. Very few are probably going to kill it.
I don't believe it was solely a scavenger. I think that's a
Right.
bit too much for the
Yeah.
T-Rex. Of course, it can hunt if.
Is there like controversial opinions like this in the dinosaur community?
Oh
where
yeah,
certain experts are like that.
again, T-Rex just being so.
People are like, no, it can't be.
It can't
My
be.
T-Rex.
No, my best boy.
What are some other hot takes in the dinosaur community that people?
Oh well, of
swear?
course, Spino would beat T-Rex in a fight. That's always the ever since Jurassic Park.
I just love how you boiled everything down, no matter what the community.
You have no idea.
The hot takes
No
are just,
idea.
I think X can be X, and you're like,
Yeah.
Do you ever get annoyed when you see those like pictures of like the stock photo pictures of like dinosaurs and they're all there, and then because I remember I saw a meme of like I think it was like a picture, it was probably like AI generated or something, of a picture of like a T-Rex standing next to a Stegosaurus.
Oh right, it's like they lived in
And all the
completely different
comments
time
are just like,
periods.
Stegosaurus died 90 million years before the T-Rex was around. This is fake.
I probably did when I was a teenager. I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's not right. But now I'm like, they
historically
just-
inaccurate.
They just don't know what that. I
Yeah.
mean, but you're speaking about the AI stuff. Yeah, that is a big problem now.
Right.
Because when you type in a dinosaur, it happened even then when you did that, an AI generated image came up.
Yeah, right.
And that is, what do we do
Annoying.
about that? You
Yeah.
know.
Right.
I saw the same for like William Shakespeare. An AI image came up when you googled his name.
What, really?
Yeah, some other shit like that where you're like, this is ruining everything.
Well, he's one of the people we don't even know what he looked like. I
Yeah,
think.
'cause they
Yeah.
don't know
At
what he
all.
looked like, so there was-
Like that.
Some of them, I think they might have gotten rid of it because people made a big stink about it. But there was a couple for a while where there was like AI images that popped up.
Right. Of what he might have looked like.
Well, no, there was just like when you typed in his face, it was just like, oh, sorry, we typed William Shakespeare an AI picture.
Right,
Actually, we go
right.
back.
yeah.
That one looks AI. No, maybe
That looks like Madame
I-
Tussauds, I would say.
Yeah.
That looks like
Tell
a recreation.
this is the worst part, right? Is that you
Yeah.
can't fucking
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
which one's which. But there's going to be way too
And you
many.
start second guessing yourself a lot of time. You're like, I don't want to be a dick and say this is AI. It just gives the feeling of AI. But
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, then I feel like a dick. You
Yeah.
I
know?
feel like it's going to get to
yeah.
the point where you, instead of having to mark what's AI, we're going to have to mark like what's real.
What's real
Yeah.
exactly?
Like, all right, real, like a little symbol on it to be like, this is a real.
Certified.
Yeah,
Certified
it's like
real.
Certified real.
Well, I guess that's where signatures come in, I guess, in art right
Yeah,
now.
they
Now
come
you
back,
need
they come
that.
back, yeah.
Yeah,
For
you're
real.
going to have to.
For real.
Yeah, I
then you
mean,
know it's real.
I think there should be some kind of like digital footprint on like a piece when an AI generates a piece of media to be able to identify that this is an AI generated piece of media. Don't know how you do that, but
annoying.
someone's got to figure this shit out, I think.